Welcome everybody to the seasonal diet, eating what our ancestors ate when they ate it like we were evolved to do. Yarrow, one of you asked about it, so here we go. I'm doing lots of videos on the herbs in the next couple months, as I mentioned, because this was a big part of our ancestors' diet in the spring. The herbs tend to grow and be in season before all the other crops and fruits and vegetables that grow. So lots of fresh herbs in these next few months. And also our ancestors would be drying the herbs to preserve them for the rest of the year at this time too. Yarrow is native to temperate regions of Northern Hemisphere, like the Mediterranean, but it can definitely grow and has been used traditionally in the north of Europe too. There's a list of studies that have shown kind of potential benefits for like wound healing, inflammation, brain health, and a couple other things, but it can have some side effects, so ask your doctor if you want to take it. I'm not a doctor, I don't speak about those things here. All I do is speak about the history and the traditional use. So the Native Americans have probably the most records, really, of using it medicinally for things like toothaches, earaches, and just a general pain reliever, really. It's also used for like healer of cuts and wounds and infections, and also a sleep aid in the Native American tradition too. So mainly the plant is used for pain relief and to heal wounds. Sure, Europeans had a tradition of this exact same thing too. Even thousands of years before the first records of it, we have in ancient Greece where the legendary Achilles used it to treat his soldiers' wounds in the Trojan War. This is why the Latin name for this plant is actually named after him, like you see here. This battle, we don't know if it actually happened, but if it did, it was more than 3,000 years ago, and pretty much all the way up until the 1800s it was used to treat wounds in warriors. All over the northern Europe especially, and all the way over to the Americas, really, in the Civil War where the Europeans migrated. So it has had many different names over the ages. Bloodwort, herba, militaris, knight's milfoil, all these types of things. I'll make a list here. A lot of it has to do with military and soldiers, and also like a devil's nettle and devil's plaything like you see there. Not because it's an evil plant, but it's probably because the plant was maybe associated with one of the pagan war gods, most likely Odin. I think for a few reasons this is. But anything basically that the Christians didn't like the pagans doing or making use of, like plants or magic or those types of things, it was called devil's work. So as you can see though, it is a very helpful plant, and it's really in abundance if you live in the right part of nature. It's not difficult to find. You can make it into tea, or you can just chew on it by itself. There's also a long history of doing that, and also cooking it and putting it in salads, and even brewing beer with it in the Middle Ages, before many other herbs and things became illegal for brewing beer. See my video I did on the Reinheitsgebot. I do not live in a place in nature where it's easy to find yarrow, so I do get it in pill form or its tea form. It's in season generally from June until September, so I take yarrow pretty regularly then, and I always keep some, you know, in my cabinet for some rare use the rest of the year if I have an injury or headache or bruise or cut or whatever. But yeah, check with your doctor or nutritionist if you want to. That's just some of the historical and traditional uses.